I am Jenny Squibb, the creator behind BySquibb, and today we are going to be making high protein bolognese. So obviously this is going to be high protein, and I just want to show you some of the cool little tweaks you can make to make your bolognese high protein. I'm going to show you first what we're using for our pasta, which is not even flour at all. This is chickpea pasta. We're going to be using 100% chickpea pasta because chickpeas are high in protein, so you're not even going to taste a difference, yet the nutrients and the benefits is going to be so much better for you. So we've got our chickpea pasta, we've got our onion, we've got some garlic, we have some cherry tomatoes we're going to be adding, and our tomato passata sauce, as well as the best part, our grass-fed minced beef. So that's all the ingredients we'll be using today, of course, and some extra virgin olive oil to cook with. But I'm so excited to share this recipe with you guys because this is one of my favourite dishes to make, and I haven't made it in a long time because actually I don't know why I haven't made it in a long time. I think I've just not had the ingredients because I've been missing onions. I hadn't had onions at home. But okay, I'm going to show you the best techniques to make this delicious meal because it's so good and it's really high in protein, especially if you switch out your pasta. I'm going to start with dicing the garlic. So one thing I love about making my bolognese recipe is, so I'm making one portion's worth, by the way, because I'm actually cooking this for my dad. I'm basically his private chef. I like to make one portion. I'm going to make one portion for him because I'm going to be cooking this again for dinner later for me and my boyfriend. But garlic is a really important part to add into your bolognese, and you want to also be very generous with the garlic. If you cut the garlic really thinly, then you're not going to taste it. Like, you're not going to taste garlicness, but you will get the flavour from it in the recipe. Like, it just enhances the entire dish. So it's really important to be generous with it. I'm using 2 garlic cloves, and the other ingredient to be generous with is onion, and we're going to cook the onion, you'll see, but we're going to cook the onion really slowly so it sort of caramelizes and makes the whole dish so sweet. And that's basically a hack I've found from cooking this recipe literally maybe over 50 times. Like I discovered how to genuinely make the best bolognese ever that is high in protein to fit my fitness goals and health goals, because I like to make sure that I'm getting something from every food I eat. So when I eat regular pasta, I always feel like I don't gain anything from that, and actually that means it's like wasted calories. So I don't care about the calories, but I'd rather make sure that each calorie is sort of getting the most benefits that it can be. So that's why I switch out my pasta for some type of high protein pasta, and I always recommend doing that because pasta can really add up in time, and unless you're using those carbs, I know I'm not using those today, so I would rather just switch it out for like chickpea pasta instead and just get like more protein from it, and you literally don't even taste any difference really. So it's more just like about like why not just do that. So I'm basically just chopping this garlic really fine. If you have a garlic masher, I think they're called mashers, or garlic grater, like the presses, garlic press. If you have a garlic press, you can obviously use that. But for some reason, I just don't have many things in my kitchen because it's quite small, so there's not much space to have things inside. So I literally always just use basic equipment, like literally my chopping board, my knife, and some pots and pans. Like the fanciest bit of equipment I have is my air fryer. So this recipe you can literally just make without having any equipment. You just have to take a bit more time to maybe like prepare the ingredients. So I'm just chopping up the garlic, and I'm literally using my fork to like scrape it back, but this is actually nearly done. We're going to start adding oil to the pan because this is nearly going to be ready to go on. And the oil, I've got the pan on pretty low heat because after we chop this garlic, we need to quickly chop the onion to put the onion into the pan as well after. And then that's where we're starting to make the base of the sauce, and that is honestly the most important part to get right, because if you overcook the onions, it's just not going to get the sweet flavour that we're trying to aim for this dish. Because bolognese, if you make it correctly, it is the best dish to make. Everyone loves bolognese. So like accessible, like the ingredients are easy. It's tomatoes, minced beef, tomato sauce, garlic, onion. That's it. It's very simple. So if you can master your bolognese, I swear you're going to have one of the best at-home meals on rotation, and you can literally make it for the rest of your life. So this is done. I'm just going to test to see if the pan is ready, like if it's hot enough to add the garlic. Hello everyone who's joining. We're making high protein bolognese. I'm just going to test with a little bit of garlic, and it's not sizzling that much, so I am going to bring the heat a bit higher to 7, and whilst I'm waiting for that to heat up, I'm going to start cutting the onions. And the way we want to cut the onions is, I don't like dicing them. I like sort of as if you're cooking as if you are cooking French onion soup. You want to like do the same sort of style with how you cut your onion. So the onion, guys, is actually, oops, sorry. The onion is going to be one of the most important ingredients in this recipe. So we just want to slice it like this. Very thin, but we want to make sure they have like long strings, so it becomes like when you cook it, guys, this is very important to get this right, because when you start cooking it, when it's like thin and long, it becomes stringy, and then it's sort of like, you know, French onion soup, it's very sweet from the onions. So this way of cutting it will help make it just like caramelize and become really sweet, and then it just makes the whole dish amazing. And onions are so good for you as well, and low in calories, so it's like a nice way to sweeten up the dish. Someone's asked me to say water. I love water. I actually only drink water. I don't drink coffee. I've never had coffee in my life. I've seen, because you guys know I do yogurt bowls for breakfast. I've seen people do like tiramisu yogurt bowls, and I wish I liked coffee, but I know I don't, because when I was younger I had like a coffee sweet and I just hated the taste. It was so bitter. So I've never had coffee, but I love drinking my water and staying hydrated that way. Okay, so the onions are gonna start making me cry. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I wear sunglasses when I do this part, but I actually forgot. So we're gonna add the garlic in now. Do you hear that? Hear the sizzle? And then we can actually add the onions in too, but I'm just gonna mix the garlic up and add more oil, because you don't want it sticking to the pan. And we're using 2 garlic cloves, by the way. Because we've chopped it so finely, you're really not going to taste much garlic, but it's going to add a lot of flavour to the dish. Because if you don't know, I don't like adding too many like seasonings. I just prefer using like whole food ingredients, and then just depending on the way you cook it, it really changes up how the flavour is. But you see, we're literally using half an onion for this dish. I'm going to turn the heat down now, Guys, my eyes are like burning from the onion. Don't know what to do. I'm gonna start crying. Yeah. So yeah, this is just like, we can just keep moving it around and like letting it go really soft. So this is on 6 for the heat level, and we just want it to get really soft, and then it starts to just like release its sweetness, and then that's where we start adding in like the minced beef and stuff. But whilst we wait for this, and I'm gonna need to keep mixing it up, by the way, but we're gonna cut some cherry tomatoes, and I got these from a farm called Sweet and Green Farm. So these are literally farmers market tomatoes, and they taste amazing. They taste amazing, guys. If you just invest in slightly higher quality produce, like good quality tomatoes, you realise it's so sweet and so yummy, and it just changes the flavour profile of every dish. So I love getting good tomatoes, but if it's not available, then I'll just get regular, and that's also totally fine, but it's just less sweet most of the time. And even bonus if you can grow your own. I wish I could grow my own, but I don't have a garden to do that. So you see, we're still just making the onions go really soft, and they're mixing also well with the garlic. And over here we have some water boiling because we're using chickpea pasta, which is high in protein, and this is 100% chickpeas. So the fact that you can replace your pasta that gives you no nutritional value to some chickpea pasta, which gives you fibre and is high in protein, like, why not make the switch if you can? And genuinely, it tastes so good. There's not much difference, but I would say regular pasta is like, once you make the switch, then you realise how bad regular pasta is, if that makes sense. Like, if you're used to eating white flour pasta, then like you're not gonna really like care too much. But when you start eating like chickpea pasta, that's when you realise, oh my god, like white flour pasta just tastes like nothing. And even when you chew it, it's like too like easy to bite. There's no like texture on it, if that makes sense. But chickpea is just like, oh guys, it's just another level. So you see this? This is where like it's starting to just take a bit of like caramelization on the onions. This is the perfect point we want it to reach, because now it's actually ready to add some minced beef in. And we're going to be using some grass-fed ground beef. Someone's asked, Jenny, how long have you been loving to cook? Did you take classes in school? I, for some reason, have always loved cooking. I actually grew up in a divorced household. So when I was at my mum's, she would cook, and I'd love sitting with her while she cooks. But then when I went to my dad's, he wouldn't cook, but he would have like food, like ingredients around the house, like very random ingredients, because he doesn't cook. It wasn't like proper ingredients. So what I loved to do when I was a child was like climb up here and like look around, scavenge around the cupboards, and basically like put some ingredients together and just make something out of it. And I remember me and my sister like made this disgusting pasta it was edible, but it was like, it tasted horrible. We just like put loads of ingredients together and made it, and we gave it to my dad for breakfast, and he loved it. And I found the whole process so fun. So I just think I've always been curious about food. I love food in general. I love how after you cook, you can just eat it, so you also get a reward out of it. So I find it quite rewarding. But I've always just sort of loved cooking, but now I love healthy cooking, because I always just love finding alternatives for how can I make this dish healthier for me. So that's why, for example, like this meal I'm making is so good for you, and because of the amount of tomatoes and tomato sauce in it, it actually makes your skin so amazing after as well. Also, minced beef, for example, is so high in collagen. it's loaded in collagen, because the way they ground beef is they get all of the tough cuts of a cow and ground that together. And for example, those cuts are going to contain like the tendons and ligaments that connect the tissues together, and those tissues are so high in collagen. But we don't usually eat them in like steak and stuff because, well, maybe not steak, but we don't usually eat them because the cuts are too tough. So when they ground those parts of the meat into ground beef, it's like a very digestible way of eating it, and then you just get like so many health benefits from it. So yeah, so I'm just like very curious about food and the ingredients. I love how each ingredient can literally be its own medicine for you, and especially when you combine things. Like for example, like, and sometimes you have to combine ingredients with things. So for example, like turmeric. Oh, by the way, so this is the point where you start to add your pasta tomato sauce, because the beef is cooked, but obviously there's still some raw parts where it's like slightly pink. So when there are some raw parts, you just want to, that's where it's a good time to add the tomato sauce, because the tomato sauce is going to heat up and cook the rest of the mince. And I'm going to lower the heat too, because we just want it to like mix in properly. So just mix really well. And it goes really sweet, guys, because of the caramelized onions. I'm going to add the pasta into this water now, because we've got to start cooking the pasta soon. But yeah, guys, I genuinely think food is medicine, and I've always been eating healthy. And I think part of the reason why I love cooking healthy and making healthy, yeah, we're making Bolognese, by the way, but the reason why I love making healthy food is because I like to avoid being ill. So I think if I can just eat as healthy as possible where I can, it also prevents so many like diseases and like illnesses too. So that's also why I love to just cook things healthy when I can. Like I made these amazing healthy cookies the other day, well yesterday, and they're genuinely so delicious. Like you can go watch that video if you want to as well. But that's a really good recipe to try if you love cookies.
Smell good.
Smell good?
Really good, like.
I'm gonna make this again for dinner later.
Oh yeah, later, calm down.
Yeah.
Hello.
Which wine do I use? I don't actually add wine to it, but you can add wine. And if I were to add wine, I would add red wine. And I've tried it before, and red wine honestly tastes delicious in Bolognese or any sort of red meat. But the reason why I don't use it as much is just because we don't have red wine in the house. Like we don't have alcohol in the house. So, do we? Do we have alcohol? He's shaking his
because
head.
we are LC, guys.
That's right. But if you do have red wine, add a splash. It's going to smell like alcohol for a bit, but once the alcohol dissolves, that's when it's cooked, because the alcohol actually will just dissolve, and then you get the flavour of like the red sweet wine into the Bolognese, and it genuinely tastes amazing with red wine. And I would add red wine if I had some, but I don't have any. I'm going to start adding the chickpea pasta in. I should have added it a bit earlier, to be fair, but I was distracted. I'm just going to add like a good portion size. Word, I just went everywhere. And what you can do as well is just make sure you salt the chickpea pasta, because if you just salt the pasta very well, then it also just has an extra boost of light flavour. So boom, like that. Did you see? I hope you saw. But guys, since I started making this Bolognese, like my Bolognese, I am just obsessed with this recipe. And you saw I also added some fresh tomatoes. That is optional if you have tomatoes at home. But yeah, if I don't have fresh tomatoes at home, I'll just use the pasta sauce, and the pasta sauce by itself is also delicious. So if you don't have that ingredient, don't worry. Like, there's some ingredients you don't need, but it genuinely adds so much. Like, I used to make this bolognese before I like perfected the recipe. I used to make it without onions and garlic because I didn't have that stuff at home. I just didn't buy it. And then like I could feel like my nails got weaker, and I was like, what have I changed in my diet that like I'm making my nails weaker? Because they've always been strong. And then I realized, oh, I stopped cooking with garlic and onion. So I put it back in, and like my nails are like strong again. And also all the meals taste better. So definitely like don't try and cut those parts out, because I was honestly just being a little bit lazy, like trying to, like, you saw how I cut that. Someone said that should be a crime. You saw how I cut that garlic. Like, it takes a little while, especially because I don't have a garlic press. But yeah, you can just get the right tools, so it makes it easier for you. But yeah, I also just don't want to, like, my kitchen's too small to just keep buying like new equipment, so I just use what I have and make it like that. So that's why I stopped buying garlic, but I've got it again, and I'm just like accepting the fact that I have to cut it myself. And what you can do, guys, when the bolognese is cooking, someone's asking Australian or English. I'm British. Britain, from the UK. Like, that's how it's looking, guys. Wait, let me bring you over here, not the food to you, because you need to see how good this looks. And did you hear my boyfriend said it smells good? And he doesn't lie to me, so that means it genuinely smells so good. We are cooking bolognese with chickpea pasta. And guys, why I mentioned in the title that this is high protein bolognese is because it genuinely is extremely high protein. Like, if you just switch out your pasta, because I know most people use regular pasta, and that was also me, but once I started switching out regular pasta for chickpea pasta, you can tell such a difference in yourself after you eat. So after you eat this dish, usually if it was like regular pasta, I'd feel maybe like quite bloated or like really full, because like the flour just like does nothing to you. But when you use chickpea pasta, isn't chickpea pasta so good? So yummy. Chickpea pasta, yeah. So much better. Yeah. I got my boyfriend onto chickpea pasta as well. It's just so many more nutritional benefits, so it's better for you, healthier for you, and it doesn't make you bloat. And it's a legume, so like it's literally got longevity properties for you as well. So it's just like overall, it's a tiny swap, and I think in price it is a bit more. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more. But that's why I always say, guys, like, invest into your health, because food is going to be your medicine. And would you rather food be your medicine or medicine be your food? I would rather the first way around. So, and also like when you invest more into your food, it also tastes better. So it's just a win-win in general. And you also just live a healthier, happier life. So that's why I always like to make these swaps. And yeah, an important swap for me is actually chickpea pasta, or you can even try like red lentil pasta if you like lentils. And I also think that means it's gluten-free, so there you go. So this bolognese is definitely absolutely cooked and finished, and I'm going to show you like the way we cook the onion. Just make like it sort of has dissolved into the dish, but it makes it slightly stringy. You can see like this strand there, and that's basically the onion that has been caramelized. And that's why, guys, this dish is so sweet and so yummy, and naturally sweet as well because of the onion. And you wouldn't expect it to be sweet from onion. You'd expect people to like have to add sugar. And you know, some people also do add sugar to their bolognese, which I find crazy, because like tomatoes itself just are sweet enough that you don't have to add that stuff. But people are addicted, guys. There's a massive food addiction problem going on, and no wonder why when like all the restaurants and stuff like adding sugar and stuff, because they only care about the taste. But I care about taste, obviously, but health as well. And I think when you just make these little swaps and you add more onion than usual and just caramelize the onions, then it just makes it so tasty and it's healthy. It's all whole foods we're using. The pasta is cooked, so someone's asked, I would love to see you plate it up. I will be plating it up, actually into a to-go box, because I'm cooking this for my dad, because he's on a weight loss journey and I'm trying to support that. So I'm just going to try a piece just to check that it's cooked, and I think it is cooked. Yeah, that's so cooked. That was pretty quick as well. I'm going to strain it. I mean drain it, or strain it, yeah. So someone's asked, do I put cheese on? So if I'm cooking for myself, yeah, I will add some Parmesan cheese. I really like Parmesan cheese. I think if you get natural Parmesan cheese, it's actually really beneficial for you. And I also see a lot of people on the carnivore diet love to eat their Parmesan cheese, so I like to eat that. But because I'm making this for my dad, and I also don't have Parmesan in the house, we've run out, but because I'm making it for my dad, I won't be adding Parmesan today, but definitely add Parmesan. Like, there's no harm in adding that. I think Parmesan's a really good, healthy cheese. But of course, only if you buy natural. Because I literally spend hours checking the packages, like the ingredients, on everything I buy. And I'm just shocked with like why so many of these brands just have to add like these random like ingredients to it, which aren't real ingredients, like just ultra processed ingredients. And it's just really annoying because it just takes me loads of time to like find the right brands for this stuff. But I have found some Parmesan brands that I can buy easily from a grocery shop. That is just literally 100% milk for my Parmesan, milk and salt, I think it is. So the name of this noodle is, I don't know. I think the shape is called, it's not penne, but like it's just like this. I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna find out later, or if anyone knows in the comments what it's called, please help that person out. But this is the chickpea pasta, and guys, chickpea pasta is just so yummy. I really recommend it. And then over the top, I'm going to be adding the bolognese, but I'm going to show you properly so you can see. Let me just set this all up for you, because guys, this is live, so we can't cut all these bits out. But that's the whole point. You're going to see this in real time as we do it in real life. So look at this. We're just going to pour it over. And we're using 300 grams of bolognese, which is actually quite a lot. Maybe we didn't need that much. But you see that? I think that's going to be enough, but I'll add a little bit more. That is a really filling meal. Actually, that's probably like more than one meal in one go. But guys, this smells so sweet. I'm going to taste a bit of this mince for you. That's so yummy. And yeah, like I said, I would add Parmesan over the top. You can salt it as well, but I don't think it needs any salt, to be honest. Let me check. It's going to be hot. That is perfect on its own. It doesn't need any salt. That's genuinely so good, guys. It's amazing. And make sure you're generous with the tomato sauce, by the way. It really helps. So what you can do, if you put it in a container like this, you can, if you do put Parmesan over the top, you can actually put it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to eat it, you can put it in an air fryer, put Parmesan over the top, and bake it again, and it's just like also another delicious dish to reuse it if you don't finish it all in one go. But that is the bolognese recipe. It's delicious. Feel free to add a bit of like flaky sea salt over the top if you want to. But yeah, I really recommend you try this out. It's so yummy. I'm gonna go give this to my dad. And And yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and that's it. Okay, bye.